Hey YouTubers, this is Jacques from JGP, and there's been an announcement from Sony on their latest flagship Rx10. Now they're at the Mark IV. I want to talk about that and the utility of a bridge camera. I am a owner of the Panasonic Fz2500, so I will leave a link below to the playlist on the Fz2500. I did a lot of sample images, reviews. I also have another playlist on the Fz1000, both excellent bridge cameras. Before I start this video to talk about the Rx10 line, I definitely do want to talk to you guys about who uses this camera, because just 10 minutes ago, I watched a video by Eric Rossi, whom I love, by the way. You guys got to check out his channel. I'll leave a link below. And by Ted Forbes, who I also love. I'll leave you guys a link below to go out and check out his channel. So the basic vibe on Eric Rossi's video and Ted Forbes' videos were basically saying, well, I can see how these cameras are good, but how they fit in my workflow, I'm not too sure. And I just want to talk about the workflow of any sort of mirrorless flagship bridge camera. Here they are. First of all, the super tourist. That person who goes out and who's very enthusiastic about their photography and video, and they go out on a trip. You got an all-in-one. It's all here. When you are a super tourist, I think you do not mind going out with a bigger, bulkier camera. It might not be as convenient, but you want to make that sacrifice to get yourself a better image so that you can make your home movies, so you can do home slideshows with your photography or websites and stuff like that. Believe it or not, I also think that bloggers who want to get into some excellent B-roll, it's cool to have your 80D and your G7X with the little thing and the selfie stick, but this camera is great if you want to shoot B-roll and get some great shots. So it's definitely a good camera for vloggers. It'll be in the bag a lot of the time, but you can pull it out when you want to go out and get those nice B-roll and establishing shots. I find myself also doing photo essays. That's my new thing, is that I like to do a thing where I just have a voiceover and there's video and there's beautiful images and stuff like that. I think that I can actually confidently go out with this camera, which I did also in New York City. I went out with this camera and I had everything I needed. I didn't need anything else. I didn't need a bag. I just needed the strap and the camera. Because again, I know I can get B-roll, I can zoom in on a subject if I like. It's there and it does everything I need, and it does it well, most importantly. If you need the slow motion shot, you have 60p. If you need 4K, you have 30p 4K, and you have it in excellent qualities, especially, for example, on the Panasonic FZ, you have excellent quality, and it is the same for the Rx10. Videographers that need a B cam, this is the camera for you. You can be using a GH5, you can use an A7S, an A7R, whatever you're using to film with. This camera is a nice camera to just say, give to your assistant and say, go get me some B-roll while I do my interview or stuff like that. It will give you excellent sharp images, and if you take care of your settings, you'll get images that'll match whatever camera. Obviously, if you have an A7, I would suggest the Rx10 because you're dealing with the same sort of codecs. Also, the same thing, if you have the GH5, then the Fz2500, you will not lack for anything. So that is one case where it would be useful. Now, this is one where I'm going to get a lot of flack, but I'm going to get a lot of flack. These cameras are fantastic for street photography. Now, I know it doesn't fit in the perception of what street photography is all about. Having a little camera, being incognito, and walking around. I think there is a good argument for small cameras when you go out and shoot, when you're doing street photography, to get in close to your subject and stuff like that. But there is an argument for the candidry of street photography. This with its super zoom will give you that capability. Yes, it's a bigger camera to walk around town with, but you can go and get shots and get images from far away that are excellent and more candid. And that, I think, is a bonus when you're actually doing street photography. I'll leave a link below. I actually give a couple of arguments as to why I think the FZ2500 is a good camera for street photography. So that's all I wanted to say for that. Now let's talk about the new Rx10. Sony has just released the Rx10, and we're at the 4th iteration of the Rx10. Here's what they boast is new on this camera. The Sony Rx10 has a new and improved autofocus speed with 315 phase detection AF points to cover 65% of the image area. A more reliable high-density AF tracking system as well. Touchscreen with the ability to choose autofocus while shooting and more. You can do this with your finger on the actual screen, so that's kind of fun. Also, the ability to decide which autofocus modes to switch to using AFA, which is basically what it says is that it'll choose what sort of autofocus mode that you need depending on the scene it is looking at. That's kind of cool. Continuous shooting at 24 frames per second. That comes from the Rx100 line and the A9 cameras, so they're starting to trickle down all that technology towards the other guys. Silent electronic shutter as well. Fast hybrid for 4K movie recording. Therefore, you know, these cameras have had a lot of stuff in them, the bridge cameras. I think if you even go back down to the Rx10 Mark I, there's a lot of stuff in there. What was really nice about the Mark I was the fixed 2.8 f opening, but the zoom wasn't as great. Later on, Sony decided to go for a larger zoom range and change that f so that it was actually a bit variable. I think, and my personal opinion on the Rx10 line is that it would be an excellent idea for anybody wanting to go for a bridge style camera to make sure you really evaluate what you're going to use your camera for. So you do not spend a lot of money for nothing. Because if you go down to the other marks, you might be able to satisfy all your photography needs with the older cameras and save a lot of cash. But it all boils down to the same philosophy that the camera does not make the photographer. So I just wanted to weigh in on the Rx10 Mark IV and tell most people out there, don't get too excited and just go to the bank account and buy it, because it does have a hefty price on it. It might be a good idea to say, okay, I want a bridge camera, let me reevaluate what I want to do here. And then look at all the different models that the Sony Rx10 line offers and go for the one that fulfills your needs. If you feel you need that back illuminated sensor, that you're going to do some sport photography, so you need that extremely quick focus, you might want to buy the Rx10 Mark IV, but make sure you know your priorities before you go out there, because all the other iterations, all the way to the Mark I, are absolutely amazing cameras. Make sure you know what your workflow is before you go out and buy the latest and greatest Rx10 Mark IV. So that being said, thank you for watching. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for my high quality stuff. Check out Behance. If you like this video, don't forget to click the thumbs up at the bottom. If you want to keep in cahoots with what I do, subscribe. And don't forget, everybody, keep on making something from nothing.